welcome to what I hope is going to be the last episode of the CT90 build series. So I've done a little bit of work off camera from the last time you've seen the bike. I'll give you a quick run over of what's happened there. You honestly haven't missed out on anything too exciting, just a bit of wiring and that sort of thing. Today is basically focusing on the back end of the bike, so we've got a bit of work modifying the rear rim. I'll go into that in more detail shortly, and I'm hoping to basically have everything from the ignition key back of the bike done by the end of the day. So let me show you what we're doing today and what's been done off camera. We'll go from there. Alright, so as you can see guys, the bike is a lot more complete than the last time you saw it, on this side anyway. I have to start by giving a huge shout out to Smeagol, who is a designer here in Christchurch. He's done all the custom designs on the CT90 for me. So still says Honda, still says Trail 90, but it's a custom font. That being said, I've got the main cover, or frame cover I suppose it's called, that's on the bike now. That will have to come back off because I need to muck around with the speedo. The air filter and air filter box is all complete now, that's all done, attached to the carburetor, everything's done as it should be. I still haven't gotten around to doing the rear shocks yet. They're on, but as I've said before, they need to be painted, so that's just something that has to happen. What else have we got? So the tail light is now on. It's all wired completely. I built a loom for the back of the bike. It was actually missing most of the stuff from the back of the bike, so it doesn't have indicators. When I got it, didn't have any wiring for the tail light or anything like that, so that's all been made. I don't think you guys are going to be able to see. No, it's just all black in there, so there's no point trying to show you that. Which brings us on to this nest of things. This is sort of where all the wiring ends up. So we've got the rectifier, the coil, everything's in there. Oops, sorry, I just bumped the camera. Flasher relay or winker can or whatever you guys like to call it, that's on and wired now. Working through the tail lights, so we've got tail light and brake lights. These guys will be left and right indicator. I have had a lot of trouble trying to source the rear indicator mounts for this thing, so my plan B is to basically make some. That'll be one of today's jobs, and these ones are the battery wires. The earth will be connected from here. Moving forward from that, basically got the points wire done. All the wiring is hidden under the frame cover. That's where it all ends up. Horn is now mounted, and moving up to here, we've basically got a whole bunch of wiring to do at the front. That will all need to be tidied up and placed into the headlight bucket. That's where it all works out. And I've also got the throttle cable is now mounted to the carby. Believe it or not, that was actually a keyway part, so I had a spare cable from the keyway trip. So the CR152 throttle cable can actually be modified to fit a CT90, so that's handy. But guys, that's about as far as I've gotten off camera with you guys. I'll show you what's next for today. The biggest job for today is going to be the rear rim. I've obviously got the tyre mounted, that's inflated, that's done. But because I have changed the front end to be a hydraulic brake with a completely different setup, different rim, there's now no allocation for the speedo. What that's meant for this is basically this little lip here. I'm going to have to modify this to take the speedo. Got the reliefs completely finished now. I don't know how well it's going to show up in the camera, but they're all really smooth. I've got it all sanded out with the stone wheel, which you would have just seen. So that's done. The next part that I'm going to need to do will be working on these guys. So this, I don't really know what you call it, a cantilever, I suppose, for the brake shoe. That's pretty rough on the inside there on that edge, so I'm going to have to clean that up, and then that needs to have just a wee bit of grease to make it move a bit freer. I've got the new brake shoes to put on, and because this guy now fits into the wheel properly, I can grease, it's gone very dark, sorry, I can grease that up in there, send this guy home, and then essentially fit the rear wheel to the bike. That's as far as I'm going to get with this today. I'm running out of light again, so I'll go a quick run through of what I've done with the bike and what's still left to do. Alright, so starting at the back and moving forward, you can see that I've got the rear rim on. That's mounted, I would say 95% now. I still have to do a little bit of mucking around with the brakes. It's just not quite doing what I thought it was going to, but that's okay, not too stressed about that. You can see sort of in here that the shock absorbers are now colour-coded and completely fitted to the bike. Further to that, I can't remember if I've mentioned this or not, but I've now made the brackets for the indicator mounts. That took a lot longer than anticipated, but I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Looks kind of factory. Moving forward, you can see the exhaust is now on the bike, so that's all colour-coded. The exhaust itself has been heat treated, same ceramic coating as the engine, so that's all on and done. Kickstarter is now on. I think I mentioned to you guys that we've got the custom sticker work on here, so like I said, still says Honda, still says Trail 90, obviously added the Bad Idea Bros sticker to there. There will be another on the front guard once I've gotten that done. Still got the temporary wheel on the front, that's just to stop the bike from falling over. Moving up, I've got the mirrors on the bike now. Not a big job, but something needed to happen. Headlight buckets on. Gauges in there. I've got the speedo cable connected, but I think I'm going to need to muck around with it a little more. And I've obviously still got all the wiring to do. So that's as far as we're going to get with this one today, guys. I am pretty exhausted, to be honest. I've been putting a lot of hours in on this bike recently. So I'm going to call it a night, and we'll come back to this tomorrow. Some good and some bad news. Good news is I've now got most of the parts. I'm just waiting on the seat to come back from the upholsterer. Should have that next week. Looks like my battery is dead, so I'm going to have to either charge that or figure a workaround. So what are we doing today? Let's have a think. I've got the front wheel now that I have stripped and painted to match the rear off of camera. I just can't get all this content into you guys and have enough time to finish this bike, so it's just going to be a bit of a gloss over today. But we'll get the front wheel on. I'm still waiting for the brake disc. That should be here Monday, Tuesday, hopefully. If not, I'm kind of screwed. So that'll get the front end of the bike sorted. I can then work on the front guard because I need the front rim and tyre on to know where to set the guard. There's quite a lot of work in that, so I'm going to, well, the plan is to modify the standard guard from the CT90, make some custom brackets, bits and pieces. It's going to be a lot of work. That's probably going to be the majority of the day. What else? I've got the wiring to finalise and the rear brake to finalise. So the list is getting pretty short, thankfully. But it's gosh knows, I don't know how many days and how many hours I've put into this thing now. A lot. It's all sort of blended together a little bit, but yeah, let's crack on and see how far we can get with this one today. guys. Although at the start of this one I said it should hopefully be the final episode, I am rapidly discovering that's not going to be the case. There's going to be one more episode. I will basically continue on with what I'm doing. You saw that I've started the front guard. There's a lot of slow fiddly work left to do with that, which is namely painting and prepping. That takes some time, so I'm just not going to get that in. This episode's already long enough as we stand. So I'll call it a day here. It's now Sunday, and this episode will need to come out this evening, so it's basically live, which is definitely a lot of pressure. So I'm going to go and edit this now, get it onto YouTube so you guys can watch this tonight. And what I'll do is continue the work that needs to be done on this bike and put a special episode out, so the final episode, probably mid next week, which is a few days before Sid's run. So yeah, wish me luck, guys. I'm going to call it done now, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.